Welcome back, my fellow travellers of history. Now, imagine a desert prince cloaked in white, riding into the courts of Europe with promise of a hidden Jewish kingdom and also an army of 300,000 horsemen. His name is David Reubeni. I've probably butchered that, but to some, he was a saviour. To others, well, he was just a fraud. But in the turbulent 16th century, he would walk the line between being a messiah and an apostate. So, changing the course of Jewish history, here is the story of David Reubeni. So this begins in the year 1524. A man appears in Venice, speaking a weird mixture of Hebrew, Arabic, and broken European tongues. He calls himself David, son of Solomon, claiming to be the brother of a powerful king who rules a vast Jewish empire in the desert of Arabia. Reubeni tells a story that electrifies his brothers and the whole Jewish community at large, all the way across Europe. Now, his brother that he claims commands this army of Jews lives free, untouched by any form of Christian or Muslim rule. All they need is a little bit of European support, and they will march together to the Ottoman Turks, reclaiming the Holy Land. To the oppressed Jews living under the shadow of persecution, Reubeni's words are nothing short of prophecy. A Jewish prince from the east, a hidden kingdom, a possible path to redemption. He seemed like a man sent by God himself. But who really is he? No one knew his true origins. Some thought he was an Arab Jew from Calabar, and that's in the Arabian Peninsula. Others believe that he came from Mesopotamia. Still others whispered he was simply a con man who had mastered the art of deception. Now, this is what makes it quite interesting, the reason why I picked this. He's claimed to be a little person. I don't know what the political correct term is for it. And they also claim that he was dark-skinned and a foreign tongue set him apart. So this is what makes it interesting for me, because there was people following, what would now be considered a marginalized group, but he led, thousands of people. So what is it that made all these people follow him? And a lot of this is just due to his sheer amount of charisma. He drew in both Jews and Christians alike. He carried himself a lot like a nobleman, speaking of a secret army and divine missions, weaving his way into the highest circles of power. Now, Reubeni's ambition was staggering. In 1525, he travelled to Portugal and spoke to the king himself, which was King João III. And the king accepted him with a lot of curiosity. He promised the king Jewish soldiers in exchange for ships and artillery to fight the Ottomans. The king, eager for the advantage against the Islamic world, entertained him. But it wasn't just the king who listened. Ordinary Jews from every walk of life, desperate for a sign of deliverance, saw that Reubeni was the hope of a coming Messiah. His presence sparked a messianic fever, I guess the term would be. Young men dreamed of joining his supposed armies. Rabbis debated whether he was a divine messenger. And then there was Solomon Malko, a brilliant young Jewish mystic who became Reubeni's most favourite disciple. Inspired by the prince's vision, Malko abandoned his comfortable life and embraced the dangerous path of the prophecy. Declaring that the messianic redemption was near. Together, the two became symbols of Jewish resistance and hope. But in the Catholic-centric Europe at the time, this type of hope was dangerous. The Portuguese Inquisition began to take notice. Reubeni's claim of a Jewish army and messianic vision unsettled both church and crown. His very presence threatened the fragile balance of the Christian power. In 1532, Reubeni and Molko were summoned to Italy, hoping to win support from Pope Clement VII. The Pope granted them an audience, listened to their plea, and appeared sympathetic. But as the politics of Christendom shifted, their dreams began to unravel. Molko was burnt at the stake in 1532 as a heretic, refusing to abandon his messianic claims. Reubeni himself was arrested by the Inquisition and imprisoned. His fate remains murky. Some say he died in a dungeon, and others that he was quietly executed. What is certain is that his grand mission ended in tragedy. So ultimately, who was David Reubeni? Was he a visionary prince, a charlatan, or a desperate dreamer caught in the tide of history? His claims of Jewish kingdom and his army within the Arabia have never been proven. No hidden armies or lands seem to exist. Yet his impact is undeniable. Reubeni's story fueled Jewish messianic movements for generations, inspiring figures like Sabbatai Zevi in the 17th century. His life is a reminder of how, in times of persecution, even the faintest whisper of redemption can ignite the hearts of the people. So ultimately, our chap David remains one of history's most greatest enigmas. He walked into the courts of kings and even popes with nothing but his word, and for a brief moment, the world believed him. Now, you let me know in the comments, was he a fraud, or was he a man who dared to dream of Jewish liberation in an age of despair? Perhaps the greatest heresy here is not that Reubeni lied, but it's that his people needed him too. So this has been the Obelisk. Now, I'd like to ask you to hit that subscribe button, leave a like, hit the bell, all that fancy stuff. And I've got a question for you. What's your favourite history? What's your favourite part of history? Let me know in the comments so we can explore it together. Until next time, take care.